When I was nursing Niles, what seems like many moons ago now, I used this one herb and my milk supply increased significantly overnight. In this video, I'll teach you about that herb and a few others that are supportive for helping increase your milk supply. And we're going to go a step further so that you learn more about each herb, because I want you to realize that all plants have many different actions and mechanisms within them that help to support the body in multiple ways. So while the herbs I'll share in a moment are helpful for lactation, they are also helpful for many other conditions. I'll also share the herbs you should avoid while nursing because they dry up your milk supply. And unless you're ready to stop nursing, you'll want to stay away from drinking these. Now let's keep it 100. If you've ever breastfed, you know it's a big commitment. And if this is your first time, well, you're in for a ride. Our son Niles nursed every hour and a half, around the clock. I am not exaggerating. He'd be sound asleep and we'd think, there's no way he's gonna wake up now to eat. And like clockwork, once 90 minutes passed, he woke up crying, screaming, in fact, for milk. Most cases, he also refused to drink from a bottle. Sometimes he'd cave in and drink from a bottle for Tammy if he took pity on her. I nursed him for 22 months, and while I mostly loved it because it helped us create an incredible bond, I can admit it was a lot. In addition to how demanding breastfeeding is, both on your body and on your time, imagine also having the stress of wondering if you're producing enough milk to support the growth of your baby. One of the most common reasons why a parent stops breastfeeding is because they feel they aren't producing enough milk. So if this is you, before you give up, there are many herbs that may help. Now Niles, while he was born at home, he had to be rushed to the hospital, which was thankfully walking distance away from meconium aspiration. So I gave birth, held him for just a little bit, and then Tammy, our midwife, my mother, they all took him to the hospital while our doula cared for me at home. I didn't see him until the next day and didn't get to hold him for 3 days. And that's when we started nursing. But I started pumping on a schedule at home right away and pumped every 3 hours around the clock so that I could send colostrum and then milk to the hospital. Pause. This is one point I absolutely must drive home. Breast milk is produced based on supply and demand. Each time you pump and your baby nurses, you are telling your body to produce more milk, and its natural response is to produce more milk. Feeding and pumping on a schedule is imperative. Prolactin is a hormone made by the pituitary gland, and it stimulates breast milk production. So after the baby is born, your progesterone levels drop, which increases the number of prolactin receptors that you have in the mammary alveolar cells. These are the sites of milk production in the breasts. Oxytocin is also released, and this causes the muscles around the mammary glands to contract, moving milk into the milk ducts. This allows for milk to flow through the nipples, get that let down reflex, and as the baby suckles and the breast pump more milk, more prolactin is produced, and so more milk is also produced. So before we get into discussing the herbs, I don't ever want you to think that you can sip tea, pop an herbal capsule, and voila, low milk supply resolved. If you don't demand milk from the body, and this happens through pumping and nursing, your supply will not increase. You also need to be well hydrated and well fed with nourishing foods. So in short, you're coupling the herbal medicine with pumping and nursing on a schedule, you're staying hydrated, and you're eating well. So now let's get into these herbs. Herbs that stimulate the production or flow of breast milk are called galactagogues. So fenugreek is my number one. I thankfully did not have a milk supply issue, but I did accidentally drink tea that then gave me a milk supply issue. And so this is why I'm also going to tell you about the herbs to avoid. When I realized this was happening, obviously I stopped drinking that tea and I started taking fenugreek to increase my milk supply. So I powdered and I made my own capsules, and I took 9 standard size capsules a day in divided dose. So 3 capsules in the morning, 3 midday, 3 in the evening. And with fenugreek, you need to take enough so that you start smelling like maple syrup. That's actually the key. I continued pumping and nursing, and within the first 24 hours, I noticed a dramatic increase in my milk supply, more so than what I was producing before I started drinking that other tea. And so I continued taking the fenugreek capsules for about a week. Fenugreek is a culinary herb that, in addition to being a galactagogue, is also supportive for type 2 diabetes. It helps improve fasting glucose levels as well as postprandial, this is your after meal glucose levels. It lowers glycosylated hemoglobin, that's your HbA1c level. It also helps to reduce cholesterol levels. Fenugreek has antioxidant, anti-inflammatory, tonic, and anti-cancer activity. Cold tea helps to ease hot flashes, and the mucilage in fenugreek can help ease digestive irritation and inflammation and improve nutrient assimilation. So you see, it's so much more than a galactagogue. Now, stinging nettle leaf. So there's so much that could be said about stinging nettle leaf, but I'll keep it brief. It's a highly nutritive plant that's both food and medicine. We love, love, love eating fresh stinging nettle leaf. It's so delicious. It contains iron and magnesium, zinc, copper, phosphorus, chromium, calcium, potassium, folic acid, the B vitamins, vitamins K and A, and essential amino acids. So good. It's often included in lactation formulas for its galactagogue activity, and because it's such a highly nutritive plant, it's a tonic herb, it can be taken on a daily basis, and because of how vitamin and mineral rich it is, it helps to fill nutrient gaps. So I drink nettle tea to prepare my body for pregnancy, during pregnancy, and postpartum. It's a diuretic, an excellent antihistamine for those seasonal allergies, another blood sugar balancer, kidney tropo-restorative, and a blood builder for iron deficiency anemia. Fresh nettle stings the skin, and while it's not pleasant when you brush up against it accidentally, it can be very helpful for neuropathies and rheumatisms because the sting increases circulation to the area and therefore temporarily decreases pain. Now we have blessed thistle, not to be confused with milk thistle, which we'll talk about in a bit. Blessed thistle is another herb that's been traditionally used to support milk production. In addition to its galactagogue activity, blessed thistle is also often used to support digestion and liver health. It's bitter, astringent, expectorant, carminative, and emetic in large doses, and has antibacterial, anti-inflammatory, diaphoretic, and circulatory stimulant properties. These actions allow it to be supported for a plethora of imbalances like excess mucus in the stomach and lungs, indigestion, flatulence, diarrhea, low appetite, jaundice and hepatitis, headaches, eye problems even, and because of how well it works on the liver, processing androgen hormones, it can help with menstruation problems. It's not suitable for use during pregnancy, but super helpful for lactation. Milk thistle. This is a well-known bitter herb that supports healthy liver function. It's anti-inflammatory, antioxidant, a cholagogue, and hepatoprotective herb. And it has also been used extensively to increase milk production, making it a galactagogue. It may do this through the stimulation of prolactin production. Additionally, it's an excellent herb to support spring detoxification, an activity that helps the body recover from all the stressors that we may have experienced and the heavier foods that we were eating over the holidays and the cold months. It also supports healthy glucose levels, lowering insulin resistance and cholesterol levels, and it relieves constipation, improves periods, enhances many metabolic functions, making it an excellent supportive remedy for chronic and stagnant conditions. And lastly, we have fennel seeds. So you probably know fennel as a culinary herb, and it's also a powerful digestive aid. It's found in temperate zones all around the world. Fennel also supports healthy milk production, and it might increase milk fat content. Some of its additional activity include being an antiemetic that helps to stop vomiting, anti-inflammatory, antimicrobial, antispasmodic, antitussive, and expectorant, helping with those persistent coughs. It's aromatic, warming, and stimulating for sluggish, cold digestion and constitutions. It can be included in your digestive, your period, your respiratory, and your muscle relaxant formulas. And it's also an excellent remedy for your colicky baby, easing those griping pains and gas. It can be used internally and externally as an eye wash to strengthen eyesight too. So now here are 6 herbs you'll want to refrain from drinking while you're breastfeeding because they will reduce your milk supply. As I mentioned earlier, so I accidentally drank peppermint while nursing, and sure enough, my milk supply dropped. So peppermint and spearmint, sage, cabbage, oregano, thyme, and rosemary. You don't want to have any of these herbs in therapeutic doses while nursing. A pinch here and there and in your food though, like that's totally fine. Now, when you're ready to stop breastfeeding, compresses of cabbage leaf on the breasts and drinking sage tea will be your best friends. These can also be done to relieve temporary breast engorgement too. So you can use them to help just modulate and regulate your own supply. So thanks so much for tuning in. Let me know in the comments if you tried any of these herbs for your lactation needs and how it worked out for you. Be sure to like, subscribe, and hit the bell to be notified next time we release a video.